Ambitious entrepreneurs are susceptible to a unique threat, and until you address this, you may be gambling with everything that you've worked so hard to achieve. In this video, I'll teach you what that threat is and what you can do to mitigate the risk of this. Now, if we haven't met, I'm Chandler Stevens. I am the somatic psychotherapist for visionary entrepreneurs, helping them get back to a state of calm, confidence, and sustained energy so they can focus their prodigious talents on making a better and more beautiful world for the rest of us. Now, if that's you and you'd like some support with that, go to speakwithchandler.com. We'll put together a roadmap for you, get you sorted out. But for the time being, let's take a look at what this unique risk is. And I ought to say that actually the more ambitious you are, the greater a risk this is. See, a lot of us will make the mistake of confusing the maximum we can achieve and the maximum that we can sustain. And the gap between these two is where you are most likely to blow up. Now, we've all seen examples of coaches bragging about their clients' successes, or people online celebrating their record profit month or all the weight they've lost in a given amount of time. And that's great. We really ought to celebrate success. But the question is this a one-time thing, or is this something that can actually be sustained across time? It's all well and good to hit a record profit month in your business, but if your business takes a loss for the next 6 months, do you really end up any closer to your financial goals? Or let's say it's all well and good to lose a whole bunch of weight and post the cute before and after pictures that demonstrate your transformation in a 30, 60, or 90-day challenge. But if this time next year you've gained all of that weight back and then some, again, are you any closer to actually achieving what matters to you? Again, the important thing for us to consider is not the maximum that we can achieve, it's the maximum that we can sustain across time. And if you are an especially ambitious entrepreneur, you may be duped reaching for higher highs and attempting to achieve more and more. But the risk is this: if you are not safeguarding your success and actually getting guardrails in place to protect and sustain your accomplishments across time, you're a ticking time bomb. It is only a matter of time before life throws some challenge your way. And far too many entrepreneurs end up getting derailed in their pursuit of their success and their achievement by unforeseen circumstances. And they get caught up moving after higher highs, never really working to reinforce those low lows. Now, the sustainable move is this: rather than attempting to raise the ceiling, working harder and harder to accomplish more and more, you can actually get the rolling averages working in your favor by identifying the low points and making sure that those are never quite so low. For example, if you want to improve your mental health across time, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to focus on getting even better moods more consistently, day after day after day. You don't need to get your best mood even better. You are much better served by ensuring you never experience a cataclysmic depression, because one really low low can take you out of the game entirely. Likewise, rather than chasing ever more profitable months, if you can simply eliminate the months where you are operating at a loss in your business and ensure that you are always at least breaking even, over time, your business becomes more and more profitable. So rather than focus on the high highs, I'm going to encourage you, especially if you have a huge ambition and you really are chasing big goals, to make sure that the lows are never quite so low. If you can bring the floor up month after month, year over year, you have a much more sustainable approach to your success. And it's something that you'll find is actually a lot less work too. Because if we look at the example of profit, let's say, you can get a much more profitable month, but how many extra sales calls do you have to take in order to get that? How much extra work do you have to do for fulfillment and delivery of all of those sales you made? It's one thing to post the Stripe screenshot and celebrate the big win, but that doesn't actually reveal the behind-the-scenes situation and all of the work that goes into that. Likewise, we can again celebrate all of the weight we lose, and we can post the before and after picture. But if we're not able to hedge our bets against the situations where we go on an emotional eating binge, or we numb ourselves out with alcohol, other substances, it's only a matter of time before that weight comes back. So again, I'm going to encourage you, if you are an ambitious entrepreneur, focus a little less on ever higher highs and focus a little more on reinforcing those lows and making sure that that floor gets progressively better across time. So again, what we're looking at here is an application of how complex systems operate. Inevitably, in any complex system, there's going to be variation across time. There are going to be peaks, and there are going to be valleys, and we're looking for trends going in the right direction. Now, rather than looking for a peak that zooms even higher up, if you can just make sure that the valleys in the inevitable fluctuations don't dip quite so low, again, you're going to find that the rolling average trends you more and more in the direction that you want for yourself, with less and less risk, less and less downside as well. So hopefully this gives you a little different way to think about how you are approaching the goals you've set for yourself. If you want a really concrete example of this, I'll encourage you to give some thought to the following. When you consider what constitutes success for you in whatever domain you're looking to improve at this point, what is the bare minimum that counts as success? In other words, what is the worst case scenario that is still a win for you? Now, you may find that that's actually a much lower bar than the record fantasy kind of month you've been reaching for. And that's good news, because if you cross the low bar for success, you're already successful. Everything above and beyond that is just icing on the cake. But the really important thing is to make sure that you have a reliable pathway to accomplishing your minimum criteria for success in a timeline that satisfies your desires. So again, give some thought to that. What is the low bar that you're looking to cross? What counts as good enough? And how can you get guardrails in place so that every day you know your actions are moving you closer and closer toward the fulfillment of what's good enough? Now, let's say you've already achieved what's good enough. The question is, do you really need more than what's good enough? Maybe yes, maybe no. But if you decide that you've actually already achieved good enough, or let's say you're on track toward achieving good enough, then the job is not to do more. The job is to reduce your risk. The job is to protect everything you've worked so hard to achieve at this point. The number one rule of peak performance across time is don't blow up. If you can keep yourself in the game sustainably across time, you're going to find that the rolling average works in your favor. Again, I imagine that you have no real plans to retire. I assume that you're an entrepreneur driven by a sense of purpose, that you have a passion for your work, and that you really couldn't imagine doing much else with your time. In that case, the most important thing is to keep yourself in the game across time. If you can do that, your success is all but guaranteed. Now, I would love to hear what you think of this video. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, go ahead and drop those in the comments down below. If you find this valuable, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm still learning a bit about how YouTube operates, so I don't know if that's down there, over there, wherever. Just hit subscribe, you'll get updates. And if you'd like a personal roadmap to more calm, more confidence, and more sustained energy for yourself, go to speakwithchandler.com. Click the button there. You'll see a little Calendly scheduling link. It's called Let's Chat. Very fancy, I know. Hit that link, schedule a call with me, and we'll get you sorted out in no time. So, be well, take care. Talk to you soon.